Dr. Paul Cleveland with Boundary Stone, and we're here to try to help you navigate your way through a confusing world. Today, the topic I want to discuss with you is the topic of human rights. What is a human right? In 1934, Franklin Roosevelt gave a speech, and in that speech, he proclaimed a second set of rights. I won't go through the whole list, but among his suggested rights that should be addressed were the right to an education, the right to health care, the right to a job, the right to be able to sell whatever it is you're selling at a price that'll provide you food, clothing, and recreation. Now, think for a moment. Can those really be rights? I mean, let's just take a couple of them. The right to an education. Education, like health care, like anything else, those are economic goods. But the very nature of an economic good is that it's scarce. It's got to be produced. Somebody's got to produce it. And so because someone has to produce it, it carries with it a cost. It's going to have to be paid for. Now, on the other hand, if I think about what rights really are, then true rights, or human rights, have to extend universally without equivocation to everyone. So when John Locke said you have certain natural rights, that tends to make sense. You have the right to your life. And if I think that for myself, to be logically consistent, I have to apply that to every other human being. I have the right to my liberty. I know I'm a volitional creature, and so if I believe I have the right to choose, I have to extend that to every other human being. It's only logically consistent. Likewise, I'm a physical entity in need of production of things to sustain my life, and hence, in the production process, I'm going to create property, and property has to be protected. And it has to be extended to everyone, so I'd have the right to my property. Well, what about these other rights? The right to health care. Since health care is an economic good, can it be universally extended in the same way? And the answer is no, not really. Because what Roosevelt was really saying is that if you don't have health care, you have the right to take a gun and point it into somebody's head and force them to pay for your health care. If you don't have a good education, you have the right to get a gun and point it to somebody's head and make them provide you with education. That's not a right. That's not at all what rights are about. And so what he's doing is he's introducing an entirely different concept of what the law should be about and what government should do. The framers of the Constitution believed in natural rights, the right to life, liberty, and property that could be universally respected, and that government should be constrained. In other words, when I go out and I violate your rights, I violate your person, I violate your ability to be free to choose, I violate your property, then government should hold me accountable to that and punish me for violating you, and hence protect equally everyone's rights to life, liberty, and property. Their property, no matter how much or how little of it you possess. Now, on the other hand, because healthcare is scarce, education is scarce, that can't be done this way. I mean, who's going to decide in the pool how much health care you actually end up with, or how much education you end up with? Well, we're going to turn it over to government bureaucrats to decide. That's what Roosevelt was arguing for. Not the same thing at all. And since I don't have the right to go out and take a gun and force you to pay for my health care and my education, what would make it right for the government to hold that gun and to pass a law and put a gun to your head and make you pay? That's a perversion of the law, and we ought to recognize that and walk away from it. At any rate, I hope this has provided you a little bit better understanding of human rights. And as I said, Dr. Paul Cleveland with Boundary Stone, trying to help you navigate your way through what's often a confusing world. See you next time.